All right, hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Get those detective hats on because today we are diving deep into the next huge mystery. I am so excited. We're going to unpack absolutely everything we know about the brand new Knives Out movie, Wake Up Dead Man.
So, are you ready for this? Because Benoit Blanc is back. And from everything we're hearing, this is going to be his darkest, most dangerous case yet. Seriously, if you're as hyped as I am for this, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our explainers. All right, let's start digging into the clues.
Okay, so here's our game plan for today. We're going to cover the new case for Blanc, something I'm calling the Chimney Rock deception. You'll see why. The much darker vibe of this movie, that insane $400 million deal with Netflix, and we'll even get inside the head of one of the actors. Stick with me, and by the end, you'll have all the pieces of the puzzle.
All right, let's set the scene. Imagine a quiet, kind of sleepy rural town. Suddenly, a young priest finds himself right in the middle of a shocking murder. Yep, this is the setup for the third movie. And it's throwing our favorite detective, Benoit Blanc, of course, played by the amazing Daniel Craig, right into this tangled web of secrets in a really tight-knit community.
So the core of this whole thing is a classic locked door mystery. You know what that is, right? It's one of those seemingly impossible crimes where someone is found dead inside a room that's locked from the inside. No way in, no way out. And according to Daniel Craig himself, this kind of puzzle is, well, it's like catnip for a guy like Benoit Blanc. It's the exact kind of impossible challenge he just can't resist.
And you know it's not a Knives Out movie without an absolutely insane cast. And this one, oh man, it is completely stacked. Just look at these names. We've got Josh O'Connor as this troubled priest, Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Mila Kunis, the list goes on. And you know the drill. Every single one of these characters has something to hide, which means, yep, everyone is a suspect.
Okay, next up, the setting. This is what I was talking about before, the Chimney Rock deception. So the movie is set in this fictional town called Chimney Rock, New York. And on the surface, it looks like your classic, charming, all-American small town. But come on, this is a whodunit. We all know looks can be very, very deceiving.
So, when you watch the movie, you're going to see these gorgeous, sweeping shots of this little village right on the Hudson River. Those parts were actually filmed in a real place, Cold Spring, New York, to give it that really authentic upstate vibe. It honestly looks perfect. Maybe a little too perfect, you know?
But, and this is where the movie magic comes in. Get this. Even though the whole story is set in New York, most of the movie was actually filmed in and around London, England. I know, right? The production team did an amazing job using English locations and just making them feel like an American town.
So you're probably wondering, how on earth did they do that? Well, that big, imposing church, you see, that's actually in Essex. Those creepy, atmospheric forest scenes were shot in Surrey. A bunch of the inside scenes were just built on sound stages. And they even used a random sports hall in West London and turned it into a location for a key interview scene. Pretty wild.
Okay, and here's my favorite piece of trivia about this whole thing. You're gonna love this. That sports hall I just mentioned, the one in West London, it is the exact same location where parts of Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up music video were filmed. No joke. So yeah, Benoit Blanc is literally investigating a crime in the same place you've been rickrolled by 1,000 times. You can't make this stuff up.
Okay, let's switch gears and talk about the vibe of this movie. Because, let's be real, the last movie, Glass Onion, it was a whole thing. It was super sunny, very funny, and kind of a satire, and fans were really split on it, right? Some people loved how fun it was, but others really missed that classic murder mystery feel from the first one. So everyone was kind of wondering, what are they going to do for the third one?
Well, the director, Rian Johnson, has been super clear about this. He basically said that Wake Up Dead Man is going to be incredibly different from Glass Onion. He's taking it all the way back to the roots of the genre. Think classic Agatha Christie, but also with some of that dark, spooky, gothic vibe you get from someone like Edgar Allan Poe. So yeah, we're going dark. So just look at the difference here. Glass Onion was all bright, funny, and set on a sunny Greek island. Wake Up Dead Man, we're talking gothic, serious, and set in a gloomy, moody upstate New York. It's a total 180. They're dialing back the social satire and going all in on a dark, classic whodunit.
All right, so we've talked creative stuff, but now it's time to follow the money. Because behind all of this is a really fascinating business story. The fact that this franchise is now on a huge streaming service is a massive part of its journey.
Just look at that number for a second. Over $400 million. That is how much money Netflix paid for the rights to 2 sequels, Glass Onion and this new one, Wake Up Dead Man.
It was an absolutely massive deal that made headlines everywhere. Just wow.
So why so much money? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle is that the director, Rian Johnson, actually owned the rights to Benoit Blanc and everything. That meant he could take it to whomever he wanted. And Netflix didn't just pay to make the movies, they were basically buying the money the movies would have made in theaters. It was a total power move in the streaming wars to lock down a guaranteed hit, beat out other giants like Apple and Amazon, and show other big creators that Netflix is the place to be.
Okay, let's zoom in a little. We've been looking at the big picture, but now I want to focus on one single character who seems to be right at the center of this whole mystery, Reverend Judd Duplessis, who's played by the incredible Josh O'Connor.
So this guy Judd, he is not your average priest. For starters, he's young, he curses, and he's got this violent past that's always kind of lurking in the background. Josh O'Connor himself calls the character deeply flawed, but also says he's someone who's really genuinely trying to do the right thing. So he's not this perfect holy guy. He's just a regular person struggling with his demons, which honestly makes him a way more interesting suspect.
And there's this really funny personal story that connects the actor to the role. So Josh O'Connor said that when he was a kid, he was an altar boy, but he actually got fired from the job because he couldn't stop smiling during the services. So now he jokes that playing a priest is his revenge, saying, "You can't keep me off the altar." I just think that's hilarious.
Okay, so we've looked at the cast, the setting, the vibe, the business deal. We've got a lot of pieces on the board. Now it's time to put all those clues together and figure out what we can really expect when we finally sit down to watch this thing.
So let's recap the whole investigation. What have we figured out? First, we've got an amazing all-star cast trying to solve a classic locked door mystery. Second, we've got a really clever location trick with London pretending to be New York. Third, the tone is going to be way darker and more gothic this time around. Fourth, it's all backed by a giant pile of Netflix money. And finally, all of that means we should expect some really complex, messy, and fascinating characters. That's the whole shebang.
Okay, so the big question, when can you actually watch it? Well, you've got a few options. It had its big premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival. Then it's getting a limited run in theaters starting November 26, 2025. And if you're waiting for it at home, it drops worldwide on Netflix on December 12, 2025. So go ahead, mark your calendars right now. And there you have it. That is everything we know so far about Wake Up Dead Man. But now, I really want to hear from you. Based on all this, who do you think the killer is? Drop your theories down in the comments below. And what are you most excited to see? Let me know. Thanks so much for hanging out and geeking out with me today. If you had fun, please give us a like and subscribe to my channel for more deep dives like this one. I'll see you in the next one.